What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I did any production related video, just because I've been enjoying all of the Songworks episodes. But I saw a comment recently about the Waves plugins that emulate analog gear, and in this case specifically the E channel, the SSL E channel from Waves, and if stuff like the analog or the fact that signal just passes through actually does anything, or it's pure marketing. And I set up a couple of tests here to see if anything actually happens when you initiate the plugin and when you use the analog switch. And I'm actually going to start with the analog switch. If I loop this now, you'll see that everything on the left hand meter is on minus infinity, so nothing is actually happening. Let's engage the analog button here. And as you can see, it's not minus infinity anymore, it's minus 101 dBs. Obviously that's not loud enough for us to actually perceive anything, but let's actually test this out. So I'm going to render this, and we have nothing apparently, but let's just hit play again. So as you can see, we rendered that 101 something. So what I'm going to do is clip gain it until we actually end up getting something. And voila, we actually do have some signal here. So let's see what we actually add when we initiate the SSL analog button. Noise, hiss noise. So basically what you have with this analog is nothing more than just hiss. It might not make a difference if you have it on a single track, but as you saw, if you crank it high enough, and in this case if you add more than 1, 10, 20 different instances of the SSL, these will stack up and you'll get an interesting, in a way pleasant hiss sound that is heard on a lot of recordings that use the SSL. So the analog button actually does something, and in this case it adds hiss. Moving on to the next one, which is a bit more interesting. I set up a loop here that sounds like this. And I'm gonna engage the SSL. Let's see if anything happens. And the analog's off, but the plugin itself is active, so signal is passing through the transistor stage. So let's see if we hear a difference. I don't know about you, but I don't hear anything. So what I'm gonna do is render this again. And if I invert the phase on this, if it literally does nothing, we should see minus infinity here. So you should get something like this. But if by inverting the phase we get something here, it means it actually is adding something. Let's have a listen to that. And as you can see, there's something happening, minus 87.7 dBs. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna invert the phase, which we did, and we're gonna render this and raise the volume until we actually end up seeing something. And even at this plus 60, 48 dBs, we see some spikes, and I can zoom in a bit. There's stuff happening. And I think we can hit play and see what we end up with. So the idea here is that this kind of harmonic distortion is what you get by just initiating the plugin. Yes, it's buried in the actual sound, but again, if you stack 100 tracks that have this, this will get noticeable. It will sound completely different to just having the signal pass through it. And just to make it a pure test here, I'm gonna take out the SSL, duplicate the track, and see what happens now. And as you can see, even though signal is passing through, the fact that you have the phase inverted gets you to -infinity. So the SSL channel actually does something when you just turn it on. It's subtle. You won't necessarily hear it if it's just on a single track, but if you stack 100 tracks, that harmonic distortion that is so important to, and has been so important to the history of recorded music, especially music made with the SSL console, you'll get to that sound much quicker than just using completely digital effects. This emulates not only the hiss, but also the transistor stage of the console, and you'll get a bit of saturation, a bit of harmonic, extra harmonic content that will result in a more pleasing sound and also in a more radio ready sound, something that everyone's kind of used to by now. So let me know what you thought about this video, and if you actually use any of these Waves plugins, and if you were on the side of, nah, this is just marketing, it actually doesn't do anything, or if you did these tests yourselves and saw that the plugin actually does something and it's not only salesmanship. Until next time, have fun with the SSL channel and with all of the other analog emulation plugins, and I'll see you next time.